Good morning, good evening. Welcome to the ocean of the vowel stream. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu. I finally have my ninju back.
Excellent. Very nice. They're beautiful.
This is
The lapis lazuli.
yeah,
Nice.
lapis.
That's what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I got it in Kyoto.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, let me try to take
The
there
blur.
we go. That's better.
You are at home.
Yes.
This
All
morning.
right. So
Not at the
what is the
cafe.
topic for
Yeah, we're
today's
not getting the cafe vibe today.
yeah, not today.
All right. So the topic, we're going to talk about number 4 of the Fivefold teaching using the pamphlet.
Great.
I did have another topic that I think needs discussing, but it's kind of always there in the background. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's pressing, but it's one that I definitely need to talk about at some point thoroughly. Ooh, the softer light.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hard to the
Anyway,
light, right? Right.
I know what you
Anyway.
mean. Right. So, fivefold teaching then, shall we? I will share my
Sure.
screen.
And actually, before we start, I wanted to
Yeah.
go. So I got a box from Bukkyo Dindo Kyokai, which is always nice. And a couple books I just want to introduce for people who are tuning in.
Sure.
One is this very well-known book, The Teaching of Buddha. And this is published by the Bukkyo Dindo Kyokai. And
Okay.
the good thing about this book is that it's a kind of a non-sectarian presentation of the teachings of Shakyamuni, Buddha. And so it includes, the Lotus Sutra and the larger sutra, and it includes teachings from the Pali Canon. It kind of has the full, and it's very well edited. It's very easy to read, well arranged. So this is a great book, actually. You can get this for free from BDK. They distribute. It's part of their mission is to distribute this book. And if you're ever in Japan, you'll find this actually in hotel
Oh, wow.
rooms. It's
Almost
like
like the
Gideons,
Gideons. Yeah, the Buddhist version of the Gideons apparently are at work
right?
in Japan.
Exactly. It's the Buddhist version
That's cool.
of the
Didn't know that they.
So yeah, you can get this for free, and it's a
Wow.
great book.
Yeah, great.
The other
I
thing
didn't know that.
this one is not free, but this massive tome, Buddha Dharma, The Way to Enlightenment, also
Wow.
published by the Bukkyo Dindo Kyokai. And this book is a comprehensive, it's truly a massive book. It's like well over, it's like 700 pages, but it has pretty much all representative text from the entire canon of
Wow.
the Chinese canon, the
Beautiful.
Tripitaka. And the cool thing about this is they're arranged in,
Wow.
chronological order according to when they were um, supposedly delivered in the Buddha's life. But this is quite the massive book. If you want to have a total overview of the Dharma,
Kind of going.
then yeah, this would be the book for you.
It looks quite comprehensive. It'd be quite.
Yeah, the thing is there aren't
Talk about
a
going
lot
back
of
to basics, as we've talked about.
Yeah, well, there's a
Getting the
lot of
basic.
sources online, but they're not always very reliable. So this you have it's 100% reliable. You have everything in here has been
Oh, excellent.
extensively, edited by Bukyo Dendo Kyokai.
Hmm.
And it's a very, very beautiful and well printed book. It has just some of the some of the what do they call these recommendations on the back includes His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, Professor Robert Thurman, who a lot of
Yep.
people and
Hmm.
will know to be
As
Buddhism.
Uma's
It
dad.
has yeah. The late Dr. Taitetsu Unno from our school of Shin Buddhism, Gary Snyder,
Hmm.
the California poet, and others. So it's a
Pretty much any name
comprehensive and
you would
very
have come
much
across if you've ever
yeah,
explored Buddhism before. It's every pretty much
exactly.
every name that you would come across in the course of your explorations. That's fantastic. That's great. And it sounds like it's very. It's probably. It sounds like it's quite sort of scrutinized for kind of authenticity. Whatever is kind of entered into that book. From what you're. That's the impression I get from
Yes,
your description is. But also a wide range
exactly.
of sources and yeah. So big tent,
Yeah, and it has an
big
index
tent.
in the back that
Yeah.
tells exactly from what text in the Taisho Tripitaka the each page is coming from and so on. So if you want to find and it is obviously it's an abridgment of the entire Chinese Buddhist canon is a vast library. So
Yeah,
anyway, just a
fantastic.
couple
Thank
of
you.
book
No,
recommendations.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. More
You're welcome.
authentic sources of the Dharma to access
Indeed.
and build your foundation of Buddhist teaching and knowledge upon. Anyway,
Yes.
right. So shall we do this? I
Yes. Would you like to share?
I will. Yeah. You know what? I just realized I brought up the pamphlet, but not the we always start with the actually reading the letter.
How about we
Uh,
just refer to the previous episode
well, I've got it here.
because
It's
we
quick and
only
easy to
have
get
like
to.
45.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've got
sure.
it. Um, the um, the letters of Rennyo. So there we go. I'm just going to a slightly different website this time, but it's loading. And just have to get to the right. It's fascicle 2, number 11, right? Is the
Hmm.
is the letter. So, okay. Unscripted, unrehearsed, teleprompter free. Here, the Gunkai channel. There we go. I should be able to make this larger. Yes, there we go. Okay, so I shall share my screen. And I believe it's, yeah, go. Okay. Do you see?
Yes,
Do
very
you
nice.
see? Excellent. Oh, sorry. Okay. On the fivefold teaching. So this is from the George Gattenby website,
Oh, yeah,
PDF.
great website, by
Yep.
the way.
So on the number 11, on the fivefold teaching, in recent years, the import of the teaching of our traditions, Master Shinran, has been presented in various ways in the provinces with a lack of uniformity. This is a most deplorable situation, for to begin with, although the birth of ordinary beings through other power faith has been of primary importance to our tradition, or in our tradition, some brush aside the matter of faith and do not consider it. They propose, oh, sorry, I'm just having trouble getting the, they propose, don't seem to be able to drag this anymore. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry. They propose that faith is not forgetting that Amida Tathagata settled our birth at the time of his perfect enlightenment 10 kalpas ago. What is completely lacking in this is the element of taking refuge in Amida and realizing other power of faith. Therefore, however well they may know that their birth has been settled since the time of Amida's perfect enlightenment 10 kalpas ago, unless they fully know the significance of other power faith through which we attain birth, they will not attain birth in the land of utmost bliss. There is also some people who say, even if we take refuge in Amida, this is to no avail without a good teacher. Therefore, there is nothing for us to do but rely on a good teacher. These are their words. They too are people who have not properly attained our tradition's faith. The function of a good teacher is to just encourage people to take refuge in Amida single-heartedly and steadfastly. Therefore, a fivefold teaching has been established. First, good from the past. Second, a good teacher. Third, light. Fourth, faith. And fifth, the name. Unless this fivefold teaching is realized, it is evident that birth is impossible. Thus, the good teacher is the messenger who tells us to take refuge in Amida Buddha. Without meeting a good teacher through the unfolding of good from the past, birth is impossible. Bear in mind, however, that to abandon Amida, in whom we take refuge, and to take only the good teacher as essential is a serious error. Respectfully, Bunmai 6, 1474. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm. So that's I was trying to find the Japanese really quick just so we can look. And I know we've explained this before, but here it is.
You want to share? I think I've set it up
Yeah,
so you
am I
can.
able to
I think I
share?
did. I think I did that before I
Okay,
shared.
let me give it a
Check it
try.
and see. If not, I can.
Yes, it looks like I
Yeah,
can.
cool. All right,
Okay.
so I'll stop sharing.
Um,
Hold on.
so
Are you ready to share? Yeah, let me stop sharing.
yeah.
Okay, bear with. Oh, there it is. Okay,
So is it
there we go.
visible?
It is now. Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is fascically Gobunsho or Ohumi, the second fascically, letter 11. This is the Japanese text. And what you notice here in the Rogers translation, which is in the BDK edition that we were just looking at, there is a text that's in brackets, square brackets, which kind of is intended to illuminate or explain, give context, but it's not necessarily text that is explicit in the Japanese. So, especially with this fivefold teaching, so Kory ni yorite goju no gi o tatetari, so a fivefold doctrine or teaching. Hitotsu ni wa shukuzen, so this is stored good. Futatsu ni wa zenjishiki, a good spiritual friend or a good teacher. Ni wa komyo, this is light. Specifically, the light of a Buddha is always called komyo. And yotsu ni wa shinjin, this is shinjin or faith. Itsutsu ni wa myogo, the iconic name Namu Amida Butsu. So one thing to note is that the fifth of the fivefold teaching, Myogo, in the English translation, it says, I believe, saying the name, but that's actually not what the Japanese, the original text says. So saying the name would be sho myo, to say the name or to pronounce the name. Myogo here means name or name and title, meaning, well, Shinron says it's Kimyo Jinjippo Mugeko Nyorai, right? I take refuge in the Tathagata of unhindered light, shining throughout the 10 quarters, or the 10 directions. So Myogo here is actually not saying the name. It's the name itself.
It's just the name.
Yes. So that's an important thing to point out, is that that's a little different in the original Japanese. So I just wanted to share that before we continue the conversation.
What is the thing? What's it say about the faith? Because that's the one we're on, attaining faith. Not the attaining faith, but the fourth faith. What does it say? How does it put that in that text?
So it just, it says
in the Japanese.
Yotsu ni wa.
Yeah.
Yotsu ni wa. So Yotsu means fourth. Yotsu ni wa Shinjin. So
just
fourth
Shinjin.
is Shinjin.
It's
just Shinjin.
Shinjin. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, and one thing it's just occurred to me in this session, the title itself, on the fivefold teachings, doesn't say the fivefold conditions for, it doesn't put, there's not, do you know what I mean? There's not a word for, is that anywhere in the Japanese that there's any kind of hint at? It doesn't say conditions. It just says the fivefold teaching.
Right. That's because it's not conditions. It's goju no gi.
Yeah.
Goju no gi. And then it says kono goju no gi joju seizu wa ojo wa kanau bekarazu to mietari, which means if this fivefold teaching is not fulfilled, then ojo, birth, is impossible, basically. So it is conditions,
fivefold
but
teaching is not fulfilled, but it's still just, it's not really ever using that terminology.
No, it's never using the
doesn't
term
say
condition.
the conditions. It doesn't, where I've heard that used, and it doesn't really ever say that.
No,
it doesn't actually. It's almost like these are the things that happen.
Yes, exactly.
These are the things that happen through Amida's power.
That's a better way of putting it, because the word condition is not used there. That's an important point. Like a lot of people, when they explain even the 18th vow, they explain it in terms of like conditions. Like
Yeah,
these are
you
the
have
things you have to
one,
do
then two,
to
three. You've
be
got yeah,
born in the to realize birth in the Pure Land,
yeah,
which is not the case, right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Right. Okay. So I just wanted to
Good point.
just yeah. So then I will share again. And off to the pamphlet then, which we absolutely love the title for. It
Yeah.
uses conditions here, but it's
Yeah,
kind
and
of,
it's
I think,
saying
but
more in
it's
a sense
talking,
of
yeah, that's what it's saying. 5 conditions for a settled life. It's not, yeah,
right.
but anyway. All right. So, oh, yeah, it's got to go the other way because it's a pamphlet on a PDF. So the formatting is a bit
So last
unintuitive.
time we discussed light, right? I think.
Yes, light. So we're on entrusting heart
Yeah.
or faith or Shinjin, Shinjin, as we've said. So the entrusting heart. Would you like to read, or do you want me to read? Would you like
Sure.
to read this one?
Yes. So, from renouncing the world and awakening the Bodhi mind, attaining the trusting heart is described in the larger sutra as immediately attaining the state in which one's birth is assured, and thus dwelling in the stage of non-retrogression. Next, should truly receive the name of the primal vow and never forget it, whether walking or sleeping. If you
Sorry.
should be probably on the top left, I wonder, maybe.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got to come over further. Yeah, sorry. Apologies. Once again, unrehearsed, unscripted, unrehearsed, teleprompter free. There you go. So shall we read that again? Sorry. Read
Yeah,
that
so
last bit again. So one
if
sec, read
you
that last bit again. So next,
next should truly receive the name of the primal vow and never forget it, whether walking or sleeping. And then if you
have a change of
change of heart and feel repentant and deeply realize the primal vow, single-heartedly entrusting yourselves to the Tathagata and always being mindful of this, whether awake or asleep, then you are called practicers with the entrusting heart who have attained the definitely settled mind through the reliance of the primal vow. So, um, Shinjin obviously is such a huge topic
mm,
that we could discuss just this
like,
one fourth of the fivefold teaching for, the rest of these episodes and never really come to the end of it. Um, but I think that there's a lot of sort of misinformation about what Shinjin is, like especially in our context, a lot of people come from a Western philosophical or religious background, and even in the context of other forms of Buddhism or whatever, um, Shinjin is more like something that I have to do, like it's something that I do through my effort. Like when people say something like, "Well, it takes a lot of effort to believe in God, but I try." Well, that's not what we're talking about when we are discussing Shinji, right? It doesn't take a
like,
lot of effort to have Shinji. In fact, it takes the negation of our own effort, which is why it's so hard, ironically, or paradoxically, why, like Shinran says, the reason Shinjin is hard to attain is because it comes about through the Tathagata's power. That's such a
Exactly.
paradox, you know. You would think reading that, well, that would be why it's easy to attain. But no, no, no. We're so enmeshed in the thicket of views, in the weeds of our own, calculations and judgments and discriminations and opinions and so on, that the fact that Shinjin arises through the Tathagata's power and working is actually what makes it hard for us to get
Exactly. Yeah,
arrive at.
exactly. I was trying to, sorry, I was going to try to copy and paste the two sections so it was a bit easier to navigate to. That's why I was trying to play with a word there for a minute. But yeah, it's exactly the type of, what was on my mind was that um, my first thought when reading that and just seeing it put in one spot very succinctly, very simply, straightforwardly, is there's no possible way I could bring that about. That's
Yeah.
there's no way I could bring about that state of affairs within my own
Yeah.
life and within my own being and within this clown world of samsara existence that,
Yeah.
you know, I
And
just
that's, yeah,
there's just there's no chance. No chance. That was my kind of, you know, just sort of,
yeah,
what you're getting at as well. But what we're gonna say.
exactly. Well, and again, you know, there's so the self faith that exists within um other power, the faith of other
Hmm.
power, the Shinjin that arises through other powers to hear the name and be free of doubt, right? And this hearing is itself Shinjin. So there's nothing that we have to, it's like it's a spontaneous and natural working
Hmm.
of when our attention is directed to the name, when our attention is directed to the light, and when the light just shines upon us. It's like um when you go sunbathing, okay, at the beach, um you don't have to work to get a suntan. The sunlight light shines on you and your skin and you get a suntan,
Yes,
you don't sit there,
exactly.
you don't lay there on the beach thinking,
Okay,
oh
I've
man,
got to
I really
concentrate
need
my
to work.
thoughts. Just
Yeah, let me concentrate
wait.
here.
Let
Let
me
me
here
concentrate and get
try
this
to
this
open
thing
my
down.
pores. I've got to open my
Yes.
pores and open my my epidermal layer more to.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
even know.
no,
I'm just saying crap
it
that
just
probably doesn't even. But
happens
yeah,
through being in the sunshine. That is what Shinjin is. Shinjin arises spontaneously, not through our calculation, not through. So one problematic thing you hear from some people is, well, Shinjin is simple. You just decide to believe in, you know, you just decide to
you
believe.
decide. Yeah, you
So I
make a
just
decision.
decide, I make a
Yeah,
decision, I'm gonna believe. But that's just self-powered,
yep,
faith created through my own volition, my own
yep.
power. It's not true other power faith that arises spontaneously, as in the Nirvana Sutra. It says, um, you know, the rootless faith, faith that has no root in me, is nevertheless arising in my mind through the Buddha's, power and light. So that's very, very important. The faith that you decide to have is not the true and real faith. If you decide to have it, you can decide to not have it. It's
Yeah.
not that's not what we're after in Shin Buddhism. What we're after in Shin Buddhism is realizing Anjing, true peace of mind, by simply uh, encountering the working of the vow.
Mm.
And then through that encounter, all of the things, the shingyo, the mind, the entrusting mind, um, the joy, the assurance of being born. Really, although
Yeah.
it says yokusho is like wanting to be born, but really it's or aspiration, but it's really more like for the person of Shinjin, it's more of like an assurance, it's a certainty of knowing that you are uh already your birth is already settled
Mm.
here and
Mm.
now, It's not something you have to wait for, in other words. Um, so yeah, true. If I was going to say just one thing about Shinjin, it would be that true and real Shinjin does not arise through your decisions or calculations or
Mhm.
ideas. It arises spontaneously
Mhm.
through through the
Working.
encountering with the Dharma
Yep.
would be the one takeaway, I think the most important. Now, if you want to, we could read, because Kyogyo Shinsho, if I can share my screen.
Yeah. Sure. I'll stop. You share.
Okay. All right. So this is from, of course, the chapter on Shinjin, from Kyogyo Shinsho, Shinron's magnum opus. Um, and this is the third chapter in Kyogyo Shinsho, following teaching and practice, in which Shinron delves into Shinjin. What is, the Shinjin of the original vow and so on. So
Mm.
I'm just going to read it because it's
Okay.
very clear and so as I reflect, I find that our attainment of Shinjin arises from the heart and mind with which Amida Tathagata selected the vow, and that the clarification of true mind has been taught for us through the skillful works of compassion of the great sage Shakyamuni. But the monks and laity of this latter age and the religious teachers of these times are floundering in concepts of self-nature and mind only, and they disparage the true realization of enlightenment in the Pure Land way. Or, lost in the self-power attitude of meditative and non-meditative practices, they are ignorant of true Shinjin, which is diamond-like. Here I, Gotoku Shinron, disciple of Shakyamuni, reverently embrace the true teaching of the Buddhas and Tathagatas and look to the essential meaning of the treatises and commentaries of the masters. Fully guided by the beneficent light of the three sutras, I seek in particular to clarify the luminous passage on the mind that is single. I will pose questions concerning it and then present clear testimony in which explanation is found. Mindful solely of the depth and vastness of the Buddha's benevolence, I am unconcerned about being personally abused. Let
Mm.
companions who aspire for the Pure Land and all who abhor this defiled world accept or discard what they will of this work, but let them not ridicule the teaching. Reverently contemplating Amida's directing of virtue for our going forth, I find there is great Shinjin. Great Shinjin is the superlative means for attaining longevity and deathlessness. It is the wondrous way to awaken aspiration for the pure and rejection of the defiled. It is a straightforward mind directed to us
Mm.
through the
Mhm.
selected vow. It is Shinjin that actualizes Amida's profound and vast benefiting of others. It is true mind that is diamond-like and indestructible, also known as nothing special. It is pure Shinjin by which a person easily reaches the Pure Land where no one goes. It is the mind that is single, realized by the person who is grasped and protected by the compassionate light. So Shinron actually says that the settling of Shinjin comes about through being grasped and protected by the light. So Shinjin is comes about through the light.
Mm.
We could get in that passage
Yep.
is really interesting. But anyway, so it is great Shinjin, rare and
It comes back
unsurpassed.
to the previous, to number 3.
Yeah. It is the quick path, difficult for people to accept. It is the true cause of attaining great nirvana. It is the white path by which all virtues are fulfilled instantly. It is the ocean of Shinjin that is itself suchness or true reality. So it's something that, um, you know, it's such
The,
Shinjin itself is suchness, true reality.
mm.
You
Well,
know,
what
in
struck me,
working in our minds as we encounter it through the light and the name.
can you go back up to the very first
Sure.
sentence?
Is
No,
this the
no,
one?
the very first. Yeah, that just all the
Oh,
way
okay.
to that,
Further
to
page.
the very, um, where it says, uh, yes. So yeah. So that's it. As I reflect, I find that our attainment of Shinjin arises from the heart and mind with which Amida Tathagata selected the vow, and that the clarification of true mind has been taught to us through the skillful works of compassion of the great sage Shakyamuni. So like, right from the start here, it's
Yeah.
I don't see our mind mentioned in there. That's,
Yeah.
I don't see any mention that our mind makes a decision. Our mind simply has faith.
Yeah.
Our mind, you know, you know,
Yeah.
summons, you know, great faith. There's nothing about our mind in that. The heart and mind with which Amida Tadaga selected the vow.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Buddha's mind that's at work.
Yeah. This
And then the
is,
clarification there of true mind has been taught to us through the skillful words compassion of the great sage Shakyamuni. So
yes,
again, I don't
historical Buddha.
see
Yeah.
anything coming from us
Yeah.
in this equation.
And
Um,
in fact,
and it's just reiterated, it keeps kind of
yeah.
being reiterated throughout this passage you read.
Yeah.
Or go in fact,
And now to read and look, this exactly, this mind arises from the vow of birth through the Nimbutsu. This great vow is known as the selected primal vow, the vow of the threefold mind of the primal vow, the vow of sincere mind and entrusting, and further may be called the vow of Shinjin, which is Amida's directing of
thing
virtue for our going
the
forth.
fourth. Boom. Good cliffhanger.
For the
All right.
foolish and ignorant who are ever
We're about
sinking
to
in
end, I
earth.
think. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're about
Okay,
to.
so should we
So
continue this?
yeah, do you?
Here's the deal. I actually have somewhere I have to go
Okay,
today,
we'll do it
so
next.
we
We'll do
might
it
have to
in
continue the
2 weeks.
conversation.
Yeah, or
Sure.
we'll try to do it before the Chaku Brothers episode we're going to do next week, or something like that. We'll
Oh,
figure something
yeah,
out.
great.
All right.
Sure, sure.
Namo Mita Butsu.
All right.
Great to
Namu
see you
Amida
again. It's good to be
Butsu.
back. Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
good to
Take
be back.
care. All the
All
best.
right.
Bye now.
Bye.